Okay, so today I'm going to be replacing the drip pans. There's one on either side of the convertible top. The one on the driver's side has a gash in it, and every time it rains, if the car is left outside, the water goes through the gash, gets into the driver's side floorboard, and enough water got into it just before I purchased the car to actually ruin the immobilizer, so the dealer had to take care of that. So I found on eBay a couple of used drip pans. I decided to go ahead and also change out the passenger side one. I have the roof in service position. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect my cables on either side. All right, and the gutter is out. I can now lift this out of the way. Good. Now I've gone ahead and removed the driver's side, this little plastic shield piece. It's located right here. I hope you can see it. It just snaps in basically. Be very careful, it is plastic and a 21-year-old car could be brittle, but yeah, it just snaps right off on either side. And I would go ahead while I've got them off and use some Armor All or some other kind of plastic thing and try to clean them up and maybe make them last a little longer. Next, I'm going to remove the what I've seen written as tonneau cover here, and there are some 10mm bolts to remove. And from what I understand, this must be slightly adjustable, so it's been recommended to mark its position. I'm going to go around this top up here, and then maybe mark down here around this little bump out as well with a Sharpie. Okay, so I've already removed the 3 bolts from the other side. I will say I'm going to take a rag and put it over the drain in the drip hole, just in case I drop one of the nuts down there. I think it should probably go all the way through, but just to be on the safe side. Next, we need to remove this screw here, and it appears from passenger side to driver's side it's in a slot to adjust the convertible top. This one is a little forward of center in the slot, and the one on the driver's side is actually a little further back, almost to the end actually. So I'm gonna take, I guess the Sharpie won't show up, so maybe I'll take a nail and try to put a little scratch mark to help me know where to center it. Okay, so this bolt is also 10mm. I've got them both marked, and you see that really released the tension on the back of this roof. All right, so I have disconnected this linkage here, and now there are 3 13mm bolts, 1, 2, and another one is up under this cover right here. You won't be able to see that. No room to move it. Fingers. So now the roof should, yeah, it's ready to come off. So I'm gonna go get a helper. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is on the driver's side, you have a plug here for a defroster in case you've got the optional hard top, or if you're getting a new convertible top with a glass window with a defroster in it. And that's going to be in the way. The bottom of the plug hangs out the bottom too far. So with a little bit of force, trying not to break it, because I am going to be putting a new soft top in with a defroster. Okay, so with the help of the lovely Miss Joy here, we're going to try to get this thing out. Wiggle it. Wiggle it.
But there is more electricity here. Wait a minute. You see the black one there?
Okay, so the wire ended up being a sensor that was up in the top. I was able to pop one side out, but the other side had a very small T15 that was ridiculously hard to get to. Had to hold the top in the air while I got it out. But anyway, it is out now. So now I can start removing a few other bolts and things that I need to get this drip fan out. Okay, so here on the transmission, I guess for the convertible top you would call it, there is a 19 millimeter bolt you have to remove. And there's a couple of flathead, slot head, whatever you want to call them, very large plastic screws. We remove those, and that's it. Big guy. And this cover will come out. So this is all your rubber here, or your foam for your drip pan. Remove these two guys. They're easy. There we go. All right, one thing I did forget, now that this is disconnected, you can slide it forward. There is a black plastic piece here that you'll want to take off. And now what we can start doing is getting the old foam out from under the weather stripping. I'm gonna have to be very careful with the new ones. They're gonna tucked under the metal up here in the front and under the carpet here. And that should get it out. Lift right out. There is a piece of rubber under here. Here's your drain hole. It's got a little bit of debris in it. Yeah, the rubber seems to be in pretty good shape. We'll clean all this out and get ready to put the new one in. The new ones are new to me. They're from eBay. They are used, but I'm pretty happy with the with what I received here. I didn't see any problems with them. They came folded up in a small box, which I was worried at first, but yeah, I let them sit out for a week and can't even tell they've ever been folded. Okay, so here's the new one, driver's side. Let's get this stuff up and out of the way best we can. Very slowly, very carefully. Try to work it down. Let's see, what's underneath here. You want your drain hole here to line up with the pipe underneath. Here's that tensioner bolt. This side, we're gonna tuck it under the carpet. There. There. That's in good. We're gonna take this piece right here and see if we can't snap it off. it's going to point upwards, the triangle. There are a couple of places, tabs underneath that are going to fit in slots. Oh, forgot the plastic. Don't forget your plastic shield. I'm going to take that little linkage part, the first thing we took the bolt out of, and go down. Put that on. Your big bolt. So now that I've got this bolted in, I'm going to take and snap this part. Back on, I hope. There we go. So now that's all connected very good. And we've got the couple of plastic flat heads. Screw down. 1, 2. All right, so it is in, no more large gash here. I'm gonna try to get these wires held out of the way. And oh, one more thing. Sorry, forgot the clip here. Oh yeah, push down a lot. Here we go. Get it back where it goes. I don't know if you can see it there. Right in here, the top of it. Now help push that down and keep it from getting involved in any of the workings. Okay, so I went ahead and had my wife come back out and help me put the top back on. It took a little while on the driver's side over here to get the wires reconnected for the one little sensor and the plug for the rear window defroster, but they're all back in now. Really take a mental note when you disconnect those things, because there's some clips that hold the wires and you need them to be in the exact right place to be out of the way. Another thing is the cover here. Early, before I took it off, I took a Sharpie and marked around the supports so I could put it right back exactly where it was. And I don't think that's necessary because evidently this was installed and then Porsche painted the piece. So there is no paint underneath. So all you have to do is kind of match it up, to the painted part. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish tightening down these guys. That should be it. Soon I should have a new convertible top. You can see this window is completely shot. But yeah, everything else looks pretty good. I'll get this down and make sure it's lined up, and that'll be that. Okay, so this job of replacing the drip pans, the foam drip pans in my 986 should have taken probably less than 2 hours. I replaced them, I put everything back the way it was, tested it, let the convertible top down or in the open position, everything worked fine. Let the convertible top all the way up, the top peeked out on top of the windshield, the clamshell shut completely. Holding the button though, the motor to the convertible top kept running and everything got very tight. And tried to reopen it and nothing would happen. It just would wind and wind like it was trying to open and it couldn't do anything. So I've just been beside myself because this is a job that, like I said, should not have taken 2 hours, and I've been working on it almost all day. I've been to the computer many times to look up and try to find videos or forums. I finally found one forum talking about this sensor. Evidently this sensor and the sensor that's under the clamshell, they have to go off within a second of each other, and they communicate then to the relay, which shuts off power at that point to the convertible motor so it doesn't bind up or burn up or whatever. I wanted to get a better view of this sensor and decided to come in here behind the driver's side seat and disconnect this cover here that is over the seat belt. There's one Phillips head screw down low, and then there's an 8mm bolt that you can reach in with a wrench and very carefully loosen, and you can pop it off. And when I do have a visual. Here's the actual sensor. Here's the plunger for the sensor, or the metal piece that flexes for the sensor. But what I found to my surprise, here's the wire for the sensor unplugged. Evidently, when I was trying to move the wires out of the way to put the convertible top on, it must not have been clipped properly and just pulled off. And that has been hours of work doing and redoing things that I shouldn't have, endangering my new foam drip pans from being, punctured. And so finally I have them unplugged now just for this video. But when I plugged them back in, I turned on the key, hit the button, and everything works fine. That turned out to be the problem, and I am just absolutely ecstatic that that's what it is, and I don't have to go on eBay or somewhere and try to figure out this sensor, because like I said, I couldn't find any information on it anywhere. So anyway, yeah, I hope you never have this problem. Oh, and let me tell you, I'm not sure I said it, that sensor is only on the 97, 98, and 99. In 2000, they moved the sensor into the convertible transmission. So you won't, if you don't have a 97, 98, 99, you'll never have to fool with that. If you do, and you have trouble with your convertible top motor not shutting off, take out a screw, take out a bolt, make sure that's connected, or at the very least, you've got a good visual of it. And maybe it's something, you can find something else wrong with it. But anyway, hope you never have to deal with this, and hope this information is helpful.